We're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. Nothing is off limits. You've already got the sense of what we're going to be talking about. We are going to inspire you into your vortex. We just want to show you the power, just for a little while, of getting in there. The immediate relief. A woman said, Abraham, I hear you, but my body hurts me. I have arthritis. How can I feel positive emotion when I'm in physical pain? And we say, yeah, you can accept the physical pain as your current reality. And you can reach for a feeling of hope. Or you can reach for a feeling of fear. The vibrational difference between hope and fear is the difference between recovery or not, you see. So we get it that arthritis and bad breakfasts are hard to take. We get it that there's stuff happening that you don't want to have happen. But we want you to stop mining it, because the vibrational frequency of the problem and the vibrational frequency of the solution are very different frequencies. You can't get there from there. But here is something that if you can take this away with you, you're going to have great fun with it over the next days and weeks. The whole time that a problem is coming into focus, an equivalent solution is coming into focus too. And you have access to either eventually. The solution has come into focus, and the larger part of you is focused only on the solution. And the way you feel is your indicator of how well you're doing in your focus. So if you will decide that you want to feel good, and you will decide that you're going to look for the things that feel the best, if you'll decide that you're going to feel your way into the vortex, feel your way in, feel your way in, feel your way in, feel your way in. Not one of you said, I'll go forth, explore the contrast, and once I really know what I want, I'll deliberately hold myself vibrationally apart from it. Not one of you said that. And I will complain and write books about it. I will complain and write books about it. Maybe I can get my own cable news show. I don't know. I will scrutinize the planet. I will look for other negative things. And I will gather around me all people who have decided to make a lifestyle of being outside the vortex. And together we will just complain and complain and complain and complain. And we say, it's not a problem with that, because as there are masses of people outside the vortex, you might even be one of them occasionally. When you're outside your vortex, knowing what you don't want, you are automatically knowing what you do want. And so it cannot go wrong, because there is this vibrational wave that has an equal and commensurate part of what you do want to every part of what you don't want. If you sort of don't want something, you sort of really do want something. If you really, really, really don't want it, then there's something that you really, 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 really do want, you see. So you can't help but contribute to this vortex. You've been doing it. You have been contributing to this mass consciousness vortex of creation that future generations will be born from. You are massively contributing to the evolution of your species and to that which is eternal life. You can't help that, but you can pinch yourself off from it here and now. You can develop chronic patterns of thoughts and beliefs that hold you vibrationally out of sync with what you're asking for. And here's the part that is so important for you to understand. The longer you live life and the more you ask and the more you expand, the more you ask and the more source answers and the more you therefore have expanded, the worse you feel when you don't go. In other words, you just can't expand the larger part of you, the vibrational part of you, and hold back in terms of your physical beliefs without feeling worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's what you're seeing on your planet today. There is such a crevasse, more marked than ever before, between those who have and have not, between those who are sick and those who are well. It's as if a giant magnifying glass has been laid over everything that is in your physical realm. And whatever it is that you are consistently offering vibrationally is manifesting in incredible form. So, we know that you want to be the deliberate creator of your experience, because creating by default is not satisfying. And we want you to feel the power of understanding these vibrational relationships between you and you. And let your every moment intention be to be in alignment with who you really are. We'll talk about how to get into the vortex. We'll talk about how to stay in once you get there. We'll talk more about what the vortex is. But most of all, we want you to come to an awareness that you are a vibrational being, period. You are vibrational, period. And if you will accept your vibrational nature, then what will begin to happen to you is you will feel the sweetness of looking forward into your vortex. In other words, it's like imagining the deliciousness of a relationship or of a physical condition or of a business that you're building or a book that you're writing. It's about imagining because you're imaging, because you can't see it. It's not manifested yet, so you have to use imagery. You have to use imagery to tune to it. And when you manage the imagery, you feel the alignment. In other words, when you click into that, Jerry and Esther will be driving and they will spend endless hours just musing sweet things. And as long as they're musing future experiences, it's so easy to stay fresh and pure and good feeling about it. But almost in the moment that they try to make the musing a now reality or compare what they've been musing, no matter what the subject, whether it's a relationship with friends or a relationship with employees or relationships with vendors or relationships with publishers or relationships with public or relationship, it doesn't matter what the imagery is about. In the moment that they turn and look at reality, the feeling begins to dwindle and dissipate, and the high-flying good feeling begins to go away because reality is old news and it will never be up to speed with what's in your vortex. It will never be up to speed, nor should it ever be. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is always good to come together with those like you, who are coming to know who you are. Jerry and Esther ordered a beautiful piece of furniture in California to be delivered to their new house in Texas. And they waited a long time for it. And when it came, it was all wrapped up. It was a console table, and it was wrapped up, really well wrapped up. And Esther was so happy that it was so well wrapped up because she knew that it would be in very good condition, so well wrapped up. And the nice men who brought it, the white glove service who brought it, that were going to unwrap it and place it where they wanted it to be, as they unwrapped it and Esther looked at it, she was so thrilled with the beauty of this magnificent table, but it was upside down on the dolly. And when they picked it up to turn it over, the top fell off the bottom and the bottom went crashing to the floor and broke its leg and made a hole in the floor and caused Esther to utter something we can't repeat, or it would have to be edited, and caused Jerry to utter something even worse. And well, it always sounds worse coming from him because it's so out of character. And so the men stood there with no blood in their faces at all. They were completely good children. No color at all in their face. And Esther said to them, because she had witnessed it happening, she saw the top was just inadequately attached to this very heavy base. There was no way they could have turned it over, given the circumstances that they were dealing with, without what happened happening. And Esther immediately said to them, this was not your fault, this was not your fault, this was not your fault. The top was attached with very small screws. So then Esther and the lovely woman who ordered it began calling the company to find out what could be done. First, can we get a new base? Second, will you pay for it, since we were sort of booby-trapped here? And over a sequence of many, many emails, it was concluded by the people who sold the piece that it was not their responsibility. And Esther doesn't really disagree with that because they weren't there. They didn't have their hands on it. They didn't drop it. They probably weren't there when it was wrapped up either. In other words, trying to point culpability is really a sort of ridiculous thing to try to do. And Jerry and Esther are very much believers in taking responsibility for their own experience. And so after much conversation, Esther's email was, we will find a way of repairing it, or we will find a way of replacing it. Let's just leave this where it is. And right before she came to that very powerful conclusion, some bedroom furniture was delivered. Now, Jerry and Esther aren't there. They're only getting reports through the telephone. And a big console was cracked. Right down the front, cracked. The picture shows the crack. Now, since Esther wasn't there, she didn't hurt anyone. In fact, her response was to laugh about it, because it's really getting to be funny how much evidence she is receiving as to the vibrational frequency she's got going on about furniture delivery. Or about people doing what they're supposed to do, or about people paying attention to what they're doing, or about people thinking about what they're doing. And there are many tentacles to this. But Esther's email to her friend and decorator was, let's just not talk about any of this until the curse lifts. And it was Esther's humorous way of really wanting to take responsibility for everything that's happening in her experience. Now, anyone looking at this, of course, the people who sold the furniture, their email was really funny. My mother, who owns the shop, is tired of having to pay for other people's mistakes, she said. And Esther is laughing. That's an odd thing for her to say to us. A very odd thing. But as Esther and Jerry and Carol are discussing all of this, they realize that there's no way out of this. In other words, you can't stand in the middle of this as it stands and figure it out and shift your vibration to begin getting different results. Esther's first response was, hold all furniture deliveries until later. In other words, let's just stop the action until we get a vibrational grip here. Because we're responding to one thing which is causing us to offer a vibration to it, which is setting us up for the next and the next and the next and the next and the next. And we say, don't you love it when obvious things point out to you how the law of attraction works? Don't you love knowing that even though you didn't break the table and you didn't want it to be broken and you really don't think you expected it to be broken, you responded to it being broken, and it doesn't matter where your vibration was before, you're having a response to a broken table that is not setting you up well for future tables coming. In other words, you just can't get around it. Your response to what is happening in this now reality is causing you to practice a vibration. Now you can proclaim, and Esther did some of this, not much. You can proclaim, it's not my fault. You can proclaim, hey, it's real. This really happened. You can proclaim how right you stand in relationship to where other people are standing on the subject. You can proclaim that all you want. But the fact of it is, you are having a vibrational response to something that future things are responding to that vibration. And this is the way we want to put it to you in a way that you can really hear it. You are letting reality train your vibrational frequencies. You're letting what is train you. Now that's all right if what is pleasing, and plenty of it is. If you could be a really good selective sifter and really just scour every moment, every face, every person, every situation, every memory, every idea, every subject, if you could just scour it looking for things to appreciate, what is could serve you so well, because then what is would train you into a frequency that would produce more and more and more and more wonderful things. But if you are problem-oriented, you're not. That's the thing that's so funny. You're not problem-oriented. You are eternally solution-oriented. But most humans are stuck in the problem part of the solution. The fastest way to make things that you've been wanting to happen is to not care that they haven't been happening. In other words, just lighten up, chill out, have more fun, be easier about it. There is great love here for you. And we remain, as always, eternally in the vortex.